Today we're going to review what we did yesterday with percents. So we're going to be able to find the part of a percent when given the percent in the whole. And then we're going to start working through problems where we can find the whole when given the part and the percent. So those are our goals today, to be able to do that. And my first problem for you is not in your guided notes. So I want you to solve this on your piece of paper or your notebook. And that is, what is 35% of 45? If you'd like to talk through this problem with someone, please go for it. Make sure they're next to you. I'll pull another out. Right. There are multiple ways we can do this. So who wants to share one way to solve it? Tom.
So first, I did 35 to 100. And then I divided 100 by 5. And then I got...
Well, hold on. Okay, you had 35 over 100, right? And you're equaling this to an equivalent ratio, right? Where did you put 45? On the top or the bottom?
The bottom.
Bottom. Right.
And I figured out that 100 divided by 45 would be 2.22 rounded to the nearest 100.
Okay, so 100 divided by 2.22 repeating forever and ever. Okay, you round it to the nearest 100 at 22 hundredths. Okay, go ahead.
And I did the same thing on the top. And then I got 15.77. So,
Okay, that is one way to solve it. Who wants to explain a different way? Lily.
I did it the same way, but instead of 2.22, I rounded the 2 to 2, and I got 17.5, and I added 17.5 to 18.
Okay, what did I say that if we were rounding to, what do we need to round to? Clayton, the hundredths place. Okay, so you're rounding there, Lily, just went a little too far, which is going to have our answer be farther off than what it's supposed to be. Okay, so for rounding, please round to the nearest hundredth. That should really be the case, unless it tells you to do something different. Okay? All right, Macy, what's another way?
instead of 2.2, I did 2.5.
2.5. Okay, it was 2.2222222. Repeating. Round that to the nearest hundredth. What is that going to be? Should be 2 and 22 hundredths. If we did it this way, you have to use 2.22. Okay, otherwise, you are incorrectly rounding. What is another way to solve for this? It's okay if you do not get this exact answer. You may be hesitating to share because you do not get 15.77. What's another way to solve for this? Rylan. Okay, so we just flip-flop these. Brogan.
Could you do part equals percent of whole?
Yes, you could. What'd you do?
I didn't do that, but what you would do is you would do 35 multiplied by 45.
Okay, look at this up here. We don't know a number. If we don't know a number, we put a variable. What does is represent? Rylan. Multiplication is equal to 35%. What does of mean? Macy. multiply by 45. Everyone, on the calculator, go ahead and type in 35%. Use the percent button. Show your neighbor that you use the percent button. Hold them accountable. Everyone needs to use the percent button. Did everyone look at their partners? Everyone used a percent. Okay, when we type in 35% times 45, what do we get? So we get 15.75. So if you had a test, you have 15 and 7,500, so that's correct. Out of 45, you get 35%. All right. There is another way to enter this into your calculator. What is it? Ben? Exactly. 0.35 times 45. 35% and 35 hundredths are the exact same thing. You could also put a fraction, 35 over 100 times 45. That also works. All right. I would say that both of these answers are correct. But they are different numbers. Why? Tom?
Because you rounded on the one on the 15.77, you did it on the 15.75.
Good. This number is rounded. So it's not an exact answer. The way you solved it, though, is correct. So it worked. This is the exact answer. Emma, can you share with me how you solved yours?
I did 35 over 100 times 45 to get 15.
Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
I did 35 over 100
Uh-huh.
times 45. Well, 35%.
You 35%?
Times 45.
That's it.
I got 15.75.
Okay. I thought you did something like this.
Yeah, I did.
You did? Can you share that way?
35 over 100.
Yep.
Times 45.
You times by 45 hundredths. Right? 100 times 45 hundredths gives you 45. So you can multiply 35 times 45 hundredths. Get your answer of 15.75. Brogan.
On test, would it matter if you put either one of those?
It would not matter. Frank. Yep. 35 over 100. We can write a percent as the percent symbol, as a decimal, or as a fraction. All three of them are equivalent that way. All right. Let's go ahead and we are going to move on to our guided notes now. Okay, when we talked about what are the different ways we use percents, a lot of you talked about circle graphs or pie graphs. This is one way that you can represent that. We talked about the favorite types of apples. We have Gala, 50% of the people like that. 25% of the people like Granny Smith, and 25% like ginger gold apples. What is the percent of the whole pie? The whole circle graph. Jacob. 100%. Perfect. My favorite apple is not up there. What is the best apple? What do you think, Rylan? Candy apple? Ooh, those are good. But an actual apple. Honey Crisp. Yes. Honey Crisp apples are on a different level of apples. Okay? They first are way bigger, and they're just amazing. But they are also like triple or quadruple the price of other apples. They're really expensive. So, we're going to look at some circle graphs here to go through some problems. All right, you can turn your guiding notes over to the back now.
We have a cat. We've always had cats. We are a cat family.
Crazy cat?
Good stuff, huh? All right, raise your hand if you have a cat. I know I've asked this before, but I forget. Who has a cat? Raise your other hand if you have a crazy cat. Some cats are crazy. All right. Looking at this problem now. It says customers in a pet store were asked what type of pet they own. The circle graph shows the results of the survey. If 8 customers own cats, how many customers were surveyed? All right, so using the circle graph, see if you can answer this problem. If you would like to talk to somebody, you can, as long as you're staying focused, helping each other out. Remember, there's 8 people said they had cats. That's 40%. All right, what I want you to do real quick is, remember, we can always relate things back to like a test. Look at your answer. Part over the whole. Does your answer make sense for a 40% on a test? Make sure that it makes sense. All right. Equivalent ratios. What is the first ratio that we could start with? Patrick. Perfect. 40 over 100. If you do not have this written down on your paper, please do. I don't know if anyone has this part. Go, let's focus. 40 over 100. What does 40 represent? Tyson. Good. So, cats. What does 100 represent? Everything. All people. All right, we're going to do an equivalent ratio then. What information do we know? Tyson. 8 customers own cats. Will we put 8 on the top or will we put 8 on the bottom? Becca. On the top. Because it's our part. We are looking at the part of the people who own cats. That's why it's helpful to label your numerator and your denominator. So this is cats. This is all people surveyed. How do we get from 40 cats to 8 cats? Divide by 5. So what are we going to do to 100? Divide by 5. You get 20 people surveyed. Now let's look at, does our answer make sense? If there were 20 questions on a test, you get 8 of them right. Does a 40% make sense? Yes, why? Rylan. Good, and 40% is really close to 50%, isn't it? Exactly. Okay? We know we are close to 50%, and we know we need to be under 50%. Good. What's some other ways we solved this problem? Rylan?
I did
8 over 40?
and then I knew that I had to get to 100.
100 on the bottom?
Yes. And then I knew that it was 20 over 100. No. Then I multiplied 40 times 2.5. And then got to 100. And then I multiplied it. And I got to 1.
That works. Okay, if you're looking here, this is on the bottom, our denominators in this case are the total number of people, this is like our percent, 40 to 100, 8 to 20. Okay, our numerators line up and our denominators line up. Brayden. I did 40% divided by what? 8? Good. So what Brayden found was he found out each person surveyed is what percent? Each person surveyed is 5%. Okay, so you can go from that 5% all the way up to 100 to figure out how many people are surveyed. Good job. All right, moving on to the next question. It is in your guided notes. I want you to try to solve this one on your own. In one community, 84% of the animal shelters microchip their cats and dogs before adoption. If 21 shelters in the community microchip cats and dogs, how many animal shelters are in that community? Okay, go ahead and use one of the ways that we've been using in class to solve this problem. All right, using equivalent ratios, what is the ratio given to us? Tyson. Good, 84 over 100. What does 84 represent? Jacob. Good, so the ones that microchip. I'm just going to put micro. What does the 100 represent? Macy. All. All shelters. All right, now our equivalent ratio. We know that there are 21 shelters in the community microchip cats and dogs. 21 shelters do this. So is that going to be our numerator or is that going to be our denominator? Maggie? It's going to be our numerator because it's the people, the shelters that are doing the microchip. So micro and micro. I don't see many people doing this, labeling them. I will tell you it is going to be helpful. Makes things organized. It's just not numbers. There's numbers assigned. There's units assigned to those numbers, which you can convert or you can pair your units up. So how do we get from 84 to 21? Clayton. Divide by 4. So we're going to do the same thing to the bottom. Divide by 4. So that means there's 25 animal shelters in this community. 84% microchip. If you had a test and you got a 21 out of 25, that's a pretty good score, I would say. Is it 84% a pretty good score? Yes. Okay? So those two make sense together. Part 3. You want to watch the video?
Yes. I do.
All right, we'll watch it. can be obviously very damaging because a lot of it's because of water. Water is such a strong strength. All right. Now looking up the problem, it says during a 5-year period, 55% of the named storms become hurricanes. If during the 5-year period there were 22 hurricanes, how many named storms were there? Go ahead, solve this one on your own. When you have an answer, raise your hand, then you can get packed up. It is in your guided notes. Moving round to the nearest 100. Alright, I'm seeing a lot of the same mistake or really just a lot of the same mistake. So, eyes up here. What percent do we have? Josiah. Good, so 55%. 55 over 100. Alright, 55 represents what?
Good afternoon, Springboro Intermediate. We have a few afternoon announcements.
Named
As
hurricanes.
of this afternoon,
There
Mr.
were
Driscoll's class has
22 hurricanes.
If you want to
22
earn
needs to be
your
on the
class
bottom.
a free piece of lunch, make sure
22 needs to be on
sign
the
up
bottom.
for
Number
Learn
of
and
hurricanes.
Tonight. Check your Texas classroom page for directions. Also, students, don't forget, tomorrow is Patrick's Day, and we are going to also, for our green, to also bring that Irish mug to your class to support the Children's Squad fundraiser. Lastly, students, I have noticed that we are a little rowdy in the hallways here recently. I understand that the weather is warm, even though it's not very warm yesterday or today, but it is getting warmer, our days are getting longer, and spring break is in our reach. We are all excited for this time of the year. We are all excited that we've made it in the fourth quarter.
We're make sure we're paying attention. We don't get back up right now.
Down a little
Plenty
bit
of
in
time
the
left.
hallways. We do not run in the hallways, and we do not need to be extremely loud.
That doesn't mean to continue packing up.
To follow the expectations that we've had all year. That is it for this afternoon announcement. Everyone is released to them.
What do you get if there's 22 hurricanes? How many of them are going to be named? Brayden. Good. She's doing 12.11. A little over 12 of them. So 100. We go 100.
Josie Griffin and Marion Lethor, please come to the office. Marlon Lethor, please come to the office at the bell.